And yeah, I would love Michael, Damon, for you guys to kind of just jump in. You know, we've been talking about this playbook and getting people going, but I'd love to kind of maybe rewind a little bit. And everything I think starts from a point of pain and doing something wrong and screwing up. I'd love to hear a little bit of background on this. Like, where did this come about, and how did you guys get to where you are today with this?
Yeah. So, um, thanks for having us on, first of all. Damon and I were talking probably about a year ago, and we we're in a situation where, at the time I had probably 10, 12 people on the team, and we would hire two people, just pour a ton of time into onboarding. I think Damon at the time was doing a 2 week in-person onboarding. We were doing 1 week just because I couldn't do more than that. And I was just frustrated, right? You spend a week or two with people intensive, and then after a couple of weeks, you'd have one of those people drop off, or if we were onboarding three people, two of them might drop off, which is kind of typical for real estate, right? And so I was on a call with Damon. I was like, man, I'm over it. Like I'm done. I might just go back and start doing it myself, which is the last thing in the world I want to do, right? And so I said, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be something where you can automate everything in this world, right? You can automate literally everything. Why can't we automate this process? Why are we spending 20, 30 hours a week in onboarding, beating our heads against the wall when we put people on the freaking moon, you know?
And you were probably spending more time beating your head against the wall than you're actually doing the onboarding and the training, because everything's coming up, you're trying to do it, and you have the intentions, or at least maybe I'm just talking about myself when I was onboarding, and what needs to happen, but it's not automated, it's not lined out. And I mean, personally failed even as of yesterday, where I got one of the newer agents here. It was like, Damon was showing us everything and more in depth. It's like, shit, if this had been my first 90 days versus what I did, I'd be in a completely different spot now 6 months in.
Right. And I'll just throw in real quick. I remember talking to Damon year and a half ago, and man, he just sounded like he was down in the dumps. He is having the worst week ever, like his dog had just died or something. And I said, Damon, what's wrong, man? And he said, oh, we're doing onboarding this week. Right. And that was all he had to say. And I understood the pain, so that's where it was all born from.
Yeah. So when back before we were doing this, I was doing 3 week classes, 4 hours a day, 4 days a week. And I mean, most everybody that's probably watching this calls a high D, and we don't like repeating ourselves. And we like giving out information one time and someone grasp it and run with it. And I ran three different classes that year, ran 17 people through classes, and at the end, I ended up with about 3 or 4 people, and had 2 out of 1 class, 2 or 3 out of the next class, none out of 1 class, and I was just like, the hell with this. It's just beating your head against the wall and getting these lackluster results off these people. And talking to Michael, like, I can't do it anymore. It was draining me. I'd come home exhausted. And it was just because you put so much effort into it. I'm not a teacher. I'm really good at what I do. I'm really good at conveying the information one time, but to tell you over and over and over again, it's just not my personality type. And the end result was you still ended up with, 20, 30% of the agents stuck. And that's even doing the best on in-person classes we could. And so that, plus right at the beginning of COVID, Michael was talking to me, and he's like, look, these agents that started hot, I don't know where they are. They're just gone. They don't come to the office anymore, so I don't see you. I don't know what they're doing, but I can look in the CRM. I don't see them doing anything, and Michael, so I have a decent spin with Ylopo. Michael's got way more than a decent spin with Ylopo. And he's like, I see all these alerts coming in and nobody's doing anything with them. I got all these agents that say they need business. What the hell's happening? And so we're like, all right, we got to figure something out. We got to figure out how to get agents to form a habit.
How many agents are we talking about roughly here that you're not hearing from?
Oh God, 2/3 of the team.
Which is how many? Which is how many?
I mean, at that point for me, I had probably 17 agents on the team. So you weren't hearing from 10 to 12 of them? 13
Yeah.
of
them? We had anywhere from 12 to 14 at the time, Howard. And yeah, probably 10 of them were pretty much MIA. And I think, and say what you will, hate me for it, but I think COVID was terrible. And a lot of people used it for an excuse, though, right? It's, hey, this is going on. World's crazy. I don't have to work right now, And there was a time where we're all pretty uncertain, but I think it kind of perpetuated some laziness in some people. And so that lack of communication in that world made it tough.
So let's say you had pods, right? Let's say you had 3 pods, right, of 5 people each. Could you do like every single Monday, right? Or, you know, just like literally 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. That's it. 30 minutes per pod, 3 check-ins in a row, 10, 10:30, 11, all 15 people, stand them up with Excel sheets, you know, here's the alerts, here's the riot conversations, here's the emails, here's the phone, here's the text, and everybody's seeing everybody's results. So there's accountability every single week. And you just go pod, check in, because ultimately, if people are disappearing and there's no accountability and there's no visibility, it's not their fault. Whose fault is it?
Yeah, I think that's where this comes to, right? I think as team leaders and recruiting and everything, and I think this is where this is born at, is it's not even necessarily their fault, right? This starts at the top. And when you're recruiting, especially when you're bringing in new agents that don't know this, is we failed over and over and over as team leaders, right? As recruiters and bringing it in. And I think that's what was born into this, to where not only is it putting it back on the agent, but back on us as team leads, and what you guys have created that are helping the agents be, the team leads be consistent to get the agents more successful. So when you're spending all this money on the marketing, the remarketing, all these notifications coming in through Ylopo, and we're like, gosh, why aren't they doing anything? Well, we didn't teach them what to do. We didn't help them create the habits to turn those notifications into deals and money. So I think that's what you guys created. So I'd love to kind of focus right on the solution. Now, the solution came from a pain. We were all shooting ourselves in the head. What have you guys put together? And I mean, I've seen this, so I'd love for you guys to share what something like this looks like, because I think if most team leads are honest with themselves, they're failing at the onboarding and the training of new agents, new team members on their team.
Right. So I'll do a screen share real quick. Do I have permission to do a screen share here?
Absolutely.
Should.
So what happened, and what Michael and I finally figured out we needed to do, was help them build these habits. And to help them build these habits, what we came out with was the 90-day fast track. And what the 90-day fast track is, and I closed a lot of tabs for you, Gabe, you should be happy. So what the 90-day fast track is 90 days, 8 hours a day, what an agent does every hour for 8 hours. And so it's not, what should I do? And think about it, back in the old days, like old days, and half the agents on here probably don't even know about this. Back in the old days, you actually shadowed an agent. Like you would go with an agent, see what they did and how they worked for 8 hours a day. Well, it's hard to do that at scale. If you bring on 5 agents, it's really hard to do that at scale. Okay. And so how do I get agents to invest habits? And with the technology we have today, with the CRMs and the vast amount of leads we have, and with the Ylopo and the notifications, how do I get an agent working the leads the way I need them to work the leads and not be doing it in front of me? Because a lot of people are working from home now. And so that's where the 90-day fast start comes in. So 90-day fast start, I mean, it really is, it's 90 days. There's 90 days here, not counting weekends. There's 90 working days in here, 5 days a week, of what an agent does to succeed. And so if I pop in here and look at this, I'm interrupting any time, Michael. And so how the 90-day fast start is hour by hour what you do, and then the system's customized to the team. Okay, so each team is customized to them, how they run their team. We'll go in that a little bit later. So like on our team, we start with a huddle. So every morning you start with a huddle. Okay, and we do it Zoom or in person. It's 15 minutes. It's what your win is for the day. Then we're out. Prospecting, 8:15 to 11. What they need to do, 100 calls minimum, 25 bombs. Okay, and 11 to 11:30. This is probably for running a team, the biggest single free hint I could give anybody, whether you do this system or not. Best thing we've ever done for our team, and any team I coach, best thing they've ever done. My sales manager now works about, I think it's 4 hours a week managing the team, as far as in-person managing, not counting one-on-ones. Okay, so every day except for team day, except for the day we have a meeting, we do a Zoom call from 11 to 11:30. All new agents have to be on it. Okay.
So what I'm looking at here, Dan, like, so it's the calendar, but as you're clicking it, I just want to make sure that I'm understanding everybody watching. So when your agent, again, this is that first 90 days, when they click on this, it's on their calendar, they know where they're going. The links here, their password here, everything is here for them. They don't have to think about anything. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. And another thing, you know what you get, hey, how do I access this? How do I get to this? Right. It's all in there. So it takes away in the 11 o'clock meeting Damon's talking about. It is. It was something I pushed back on when we first started talking about it. I said, that I don't think that would work, right? It saves so much time from those got-a-minute questions, right? You have new agents coming up to you and say, hey, can you help it? Can you show me how to do this? This lead said this, what should I do? How do I log into this? You take care of all of that on this 1 30-minute call. And Howard, kind of touched on it with, hey, do you have these calls for your different pods on the team, right? This handles all of the new people on the team, going over all questions. Damon and I both say, if you have a contract related question, hey, you can come to us. Those are super important to be handled in real time. If you have pretty much any other questions, save it for this call. All of the agents learn from each other in asking questions, because they're all going to have the same questions, and you knock them out on 1 30-minute call rather than 1 minute at a time all day to where you can't do anything for the entire day.
Right. And so we actually train the agents. So when they come to us anytime during the day, if it's not contract related, that's a great 11 o'clock question. Be sure you bring it up on the call tomorrow. And after a while, they
have a sales manager, right? I mean, I think that's another, example of a training for even as a team leader, as a sales manager, right? Not just doing the one-offs. Let's keep the structure so everybody's on the same page.
Yep. And so there's that call. 11:30 to 12, this is designed in the training so that any other trainings you come across that need to be plugged in, you can plug them in. If not, the agent catches up on the stuff they're supposed to finish here. Lunch break, because I'm sorry, millennials take lunch. I don't understand it, but they do. Then 1 to 2, do a property search. So there's a questionnaire we send out asking about your price ranges, your school systems, everything. Actually have the agent go choose 2 houses that are active on the market. Price range, don't laugh. This is mine, definitely not Michael's. Do the search, find the house, go to the house, while they're at the house, preview it, take pictures of the outside of the house, roof, thermostat, email those or text those to the sales manager, do a Facebook Live from the house. We're teaching agents how to be in the business. Okay. And we're teaching them to tell their entire sphere, hey, I'm a real estate agent. Okay. They do that to Facebook Live outside the house, then write the name on the MLS sheet, turn it into the sales manager, text feedback to the listing agent. All right. And they do that. So they're going to do 45 of these throughout the training. Maybe it's either 45 or 50. Go back, pull comps on the house, email the comps to the sales manager. Then they're going to write a contract. In there, we ask you what types of loans you do in your market. Your typical.
So I was going to ask that. Hold on a second, Damon. So everything you're showing here, right? So as a team lead, I'm getting a form that I'm filling out. What's my average price point? What do I, what are the type of loans in our market, et cetera, right? So this is all sent. Perfect. So the team lead is filling this all out ahead of time. And then the fast track, what you're showing is all customized to that team.
To that team, to that market. Yes.
Got it.
And so Michael and I had a theory. All right. And our theory was that agents didn't typically sell houses to 4 to 6 months because they were scared to write contracts. We didn't really know. We kind of thought because your typical team is 4 to 6 months before contracts started happening. And so we have agents writing contracts week 1 now. And through the course, and it's somewhere, it's between 45 and 50 contracts they're going to write in that 90 days. So right. Michael and I both, our average agent is writing contracts month 1 now.
Okay. Because this starts, again, we're focusing on the first 90 days of somebody on your team, or maybe even being newly licensed in the business day by day by day by day.
Right. And you and I were talking yesterday, you said, what about an existing agent? Unless it's an existing agent that has a history of selling successfully, we still put them in this because typically they're not successful at selling because they have not established the habits to be successful.
And that's why they're joining your team.
That's why they're joining the team. Yep.
Right. And I actually had agents who had been on our team for a year or more. When we implemented this, they asked if they could do it, right? Because they saw how much the new agents liked it. And kind of going back to the whole COVID thing being disconnected, what this did for us in an age where we weren't able to be, together and meeting like we were, it made our culture better than it ever has been. Just simply because everybody was on the same page, right? All of the new agents coming in knew exactly what they were supposed to be doing, knew when they were supposed to be doing it. And that motivated the agents that have been on the team for a while because these new people were coming in, crushing it, making their calls, writing contracts, doing the right things. So this one system really kind of helped bring all that together and eased a bunch of pain points for us.
Well, I love that. And I was just about to ask, Damon, you're going here. What I love when you guys showed yesterday too is, right, you're customizing this to what your team's doing. So all these Ylopo users, right? These things are built up using tools like what is their CRM? They're customized to their CRM, to Ylopo, all of that stuff. So they're understanding how to get the most out of all these priority alerts, all these RIA reply, everything that they're doing.
Correct. And in the beginning, in the first couple of weeks, there's it's a lot more video heavy. All right. And with the training on how to use Ylopo, it does screen shares, it's showing how to. So we all have the systems, we all have the technology. It's, do you have the time to sit down and truly train every agent the right way? And so if you can take the time to sit down and do a recording, to do it the right way one time, okay? Do it the right way one time, you can train 100 agents or 1,000 agents. It doesn't matter, because you're doing a repeatable, predictable system every time. And every agent's getting trained the right way. And so that's what we found has been the springboard for the success of agents, is that you do a really good recording, you show the agent, and anytime in training, they can go back and watch this and say, okay, that's what I need to do. Crap, I forgot how to do that. Instead of saying, hey, Gabe, I forgot. How do you find the stars link in Follow-Up Boss? I can't find the stars link. You're like, oh my God, do I have to show you again? Instead of, hey, go back to the training, look it up, find it there. It's really simple.
Well, and it's, we focus a lot, right? New agents coming in, the lead gen that's coming in, the opportunities and all that, but sometimes we don't lay the groundwork for them to get what they need to be comfortable, to reach out, make that phone call, respond, go to the property, get the listing alerts, set up properly, all of that stuff. So this is really helping lay that foundation so that the opportunities that are being generated through Ylopo, the lead generation, all of that aren't being missed. It's really like this is really that complete package. We think it all starts with all this stuff. And I know a few people have mentioned, like, how do we get out? What we're going to get to is like, how do you get this customized and available to that? But the idea again is, what are all the other things that help you be successful when you come in, right? We've all hired. I think we're in that mentality, like, okay, I've got all these great tools, these systems. I've got state-of-the-art marketing, AI, priority alerts. So all I need to do is just plug in an agent, and they're going to be successful. I think what we've all seen is, well, not everybody is, and it comes down to training. And how do we get them to create those habits of what they're doing that we may not be consistent as team leads to do over and over?
And the thing we didn't think about when we created this was the recruiting aspect, because we were already recruiting. That was fine. Okay. We were recruiting people, we were getting them in. That was fine. But what we didn't realize is that there's a lot of companies out there that promise training, and it's crap at best. Okay. It's crap at best. And so what we found out is, when we use the technology, like, it's weird in my market, having a CRM for some agents is like, oh my God. And then when they see Ylopo and they see what the technology does, and I call it legal stalking, okay? When we show them that, and then we show them a training system that's going to take them 8 hours a day, start to finish, from incompetence to competence, it's pretty much a no-brainer. And the agents that we get from existing companies come from a company that they brag about training, but they have to pay for it. They have to pay $500 a month or $1,000 a month to do training. Well, they're already broke. They're already trying to exist in this business without any leads, without any systems. And then they can come here, or they come to Michael's team, and they get this training system, and it is complete start to finish with someone that knows exactly what the hell they're doing.
Yeah. Right. So how are you hearing that? Oh, go ahead, Michael. Because I want to talk about with recruiting and how you're leveraging it with what you're doing with Ylopo. And all that stuff.
And I did a webinar, I think last summer, with you guys, talking about how Ylopo is our #1 recruiting tool, and that still remains. I mean, the technology, when we go over the technology of Ylopo, the opportunities it creates in detail, people are just freaking floored, right? It's, where can I sign? I will say, since adding this in, it's kind of the 1-2 punch, right? Like, Ylopo is going to give you all these opportunities, and here's going to be the training for you to actually take advantage of those, right? And so what we found, and it's a great problem to have, is that before we had this, the agents almost had too many opportunities that they were overwhelmed, and that's a great problem to have. I want that all day. But once we plugged in this training, they were able to take advantage of those opportunities, and, like Damon said, start selling in month 1.
Yep. No, I love it. Well, I mean, a lot of people are asking, okay, so how do we get this? How is this pairing through? So, I mean, I'd love for people to kind of get a better understanding. You guys have created this, and I know Howard beat you guys up because you guys put a lot of time and effort into this. We didn't even show like a lot of the videos. Like, as you're showing them what needs to happen, you guys have pre-filled in a bunch of videos and stuff. But How do people?
There's a lot of questions that are mounting up. One of the most common asked questions so far is like, how do we get access to this? Another one was like, what the heck does this have to do with Ylopo? So you guys should tie that together. Another one someone else asked, how do you efficiently show a recruit what Ylopo does, so that you can use Ylopo to get them onto the team. So these are some of the questions that are piling up.
I'll hop in on that. I mean, I think we've talked a decent amount about how it ties to Ylopo, but I think the main thing is that Ylopo's technology is that there's a lot of it, right? There's a lot to teach there. And so when you have new agents coming on, I would sit and spend a ton of time relaying that technology to the new agents and saying, hey, here's how you work it. And I found myself doing that over and over again, right? And beating my head against the wall, and they were getting that technology and loving it. But again, we said, there's got to be a system for this. So basically all of those things we've made videos for, we've systematized how Ylopo works, how we're teaching that, how we're teaching our CRM, and making it a lot easier for them, a lot easier for us, right? We took our onboarding time from, 20 hours a week to basically 2 or 3 hours a week.
Okay, so going back to the question of what does this have to do with Ylopo, you guys have basically said, like, look, you were like, you'd onboard and then you train Ylopo, then you'd onboard and train Ylopo, you onboard and train Ylopo. You hadn't codified it, you hadn't written it down, you hadn't systemized it. And now you can use it perpetually for recruiting and then obviously staffing. And since Ylopo is a big part of your daily cadence, it's a big part of this whole onboarding system. So obviously this is incredibly important if you're using Ylopo and you want your whole team using Ylopo. And then how do you efficiently, that was a good question, how do you efficiently, when you're in the recruiting process, show the power of it and use it as a draw for them to come to your team?
Yeah. So, I mean, I know some people have created videos and created, handouts and stuff. I love just talking about it, because I found that before we had Ylopo, when we'd have somebody in on an interview, if I wanted to hire them, there's a decent chance they'd want to work for us. Not great, not all the time. Since we've implemented Ylopo and I've learned how to dig in talking about it, I would say that 99% of people that I want to work for us want to work with us, right? And it's just.
So what is it? What is it specifically? Or talk or press to them that resonates with them that gets you to hit that 99% mark?
Right. Just the amount of opportunities it creates, right? Like we generate a ton of leads. That's great. But what this Ylopo system does and what it allows you to do is go after higher acuity leads, the ones that are responding to Raya, the ones that are priority alerts, the ones that are in there and hot. And for us, I say, hey, we have 55,000 people in our database. And a couple of years ago, you'd have to go in and pick up the phone and call 55,000 people and hope that one of them was something good. Here, you can have Ylopo narrow down 50 people for you and call those people, right? So you're calling 1,000 times less people, having to call through 1,000 times less people to find that one piece of gold. Right?
Do you visually show them, like, look at these priority alerts or look at these Raya conversations? You visually show them, or you just talking about it?
Yeah, so I'll pull up my phone and show the text messages of the Raya alerts, the priority alerts coming in, and say, hey, our agents that are hungry have zero shortage of availability to eat, right? And usually if we've been in an interview for 20 minutes, there's been a few priority alerts come in. So I'll pull up my phone and say, hey, look, just right now, here's so-and-so looked at this property 5 times. You could call that person if you are on our team, right? And just little things like that make a huge difference.
But here's where I think the layer and the tie is, and I agree. I think it's a great question. How do you show it? So, but when you're showing agents, a lot of times this too, and it's coming in like there's not a lot of depth. I think when you start pairing, here's everything that's coming in. Here's these replies to AI through Raya. Here are these priority notifications. Here's the new leads. But then it's also like, oh crap, there's a lot. How do I learn how to turn this into a commission? And I think that's where you start tying in something like this, where you bring it in. So now I'm showing you all this technology. Here's how we're going to make sure that you succeed with it. Take away that fear of learning it. And I think that's where, your success is usually in the preparation. So you have all this, and jumping on, calls with teams and everything, like, how do I get more out of it? Okay, I saw it and I got excited because I see Michael Baird killing it. I see Damon killing it. I see Baird killing it. How do we go kill it? So I think that's what I love about how you pair this is like, now we're going to show them how to go kill it. We're going to, you know, whether it's videos, you use it in the recruiting aspect, but now I'm actually going to give you the tools to learn about it, have the resources to now implement and convert and actually get paid. That's what I like about it. Failing as a trainer myself.
So we did that call a couple weeks ago, Gabe. It was the Wednesday call, which I've missed everyone since then. But you were talking about my ROI, because you and I were looking at my ROI on Ylopo last year was 16 to 1. And everybody was like, oh my God, how could that be? How do you do that? And I'm not knocking Ylopo. Ylopo is a great technology if you know how to use it, if you know how to identify the lowest hanging fruit. But if you think it's a technology that you can buy, plug into your CRM, and not teach your agents at a high degree how to use it and how to find the lowest hanging fruit to go sell. I was on stage with Howard a couple of years ago up in Minnesota, and he was talking about fishing upstream. And that's what it is. It's fishing upstream before these leads hit the portals. But if you don't teach your agent to fish, it doesn't matter that the fish are there to catch. You got to be able to teach them to fish. And I think most team leaders want to do a good job teaching their agents how to do it, but how much time do you have? And when they initially get onboarded, it's like a fire hydrant. You're throwing all this crap at them on 1 day or 2 days, and you expect them to absorb it and to keep it, and they can't. And you don't have a system in place to remind them over and over and over, this is what you do, this is how you do it, this is what you do, this is how you do it, this is what you do, this is how you do it. And that's what the 90-day fast track does.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 years ago, the stream metaphor wasn't even as powerful, Damon, as it is now, because now I'm just envisioning, and Kiwi, we got to create this video, Kiwi, if you're there, I create this video. Now I'm envisioning, we have all the tech now to literally come in and move the fish down the stream, right? But at some point, you still got to jump in right with your net, right, and catch the fish. But the riot conversations, the priority alerts, the constant, the dynamic remarketing, we're just bringing them back. We're moving them down, and then we're seeing the ones jumping out of the water. But you still got to go. You still got to go in there with your net. So let me kind of quickly. I'm going to share some of the questions here, guys. Like, any way the 90-day fast track can be shared, great structure. You want to share? Is it shareable? What platform is the fast track on? A couple of people asking about that. Can I take the training? Looks amazing. How do I buy those training guides? What platform software is it on? I'm guessing the system is for sale. Or will you also share some stuff for free? So these are a lot of the questions that are happening right now. You guys want to hit some of that?
I mean, yeah, I'll hit it. So it's simple to do, and took about 400, maybe 500 hours to do the initial version. And then it's taken a couple hundred hours to refine it. It's built on Trainial. It's a system anybody can get. I think it's about $279 a month for 50 users. It's built on Trainial. That's how we build it.
So can someone share that to everybody in the chat, please? Share that tool in the chat.
Yeah, it's Trainial is what we use. It's like $279 a month for the system. We built it out so it's fully customizable, and we have been selling it for $49.97. That's $4,997 turnkey. All you have to do is supply us the information. We edit it. We do everything for you. It's turnkey. Howard banged us up, told us we had to give Ylopo people a discount. So we're doing a 10% discount to the end of the month. Anybody wants it.
What did you say, 20% discount? I forgot, I didn't hear you.
I said 10%, and you're going to get.
I heard 20%.
Yeah.
You're throwing in the other 10.
Yeah, you're throwing in the other 10. I appreciate that, Howard. 10% discount to the end of the month. And it's, we're on a call, Michael on a call with somebody the other day, and he was in a market like mine, $200,000 price range. He said, you mean so the price of one sale, I can have my agents trained? I'm like, yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's it. And so anybody can create it. I can tell you, if I could have bought it, I would have paid $10,000 or $15,000 not to create it. It wasn't out there. And so, unfortunately, Michael kind of had the idea and gave me a suggestion that I couldn't let go of it. And we spent a little over a year building it. But now that it's built, it's a training machine.
I know you guys built a lot of this around like finding that low-hanging fruit that we were talking about. I mean, it's hard to go into every little thing. So we're talking about the training to really go into that. But so you're customizing it to the team, to their market. What about their CRM? I mean, I know that there's, Ylopo is not CRM specific. Are you able to help everybody with the different CRMs? I know you
am I screen sharing now?
Yep.
All right. So what it is, there's about 70 videos, I think 69 videos that a team leader has to shoot. These first 3 columns are ours. This tells us where we have to insert them in the training program. This is a description of what the training is. If you don't understand what it's talking about, we actually have a link to a video here that we did in a training program so you can see it. If you like our video, you can use ours. So just say use yours. If you don't need it, say NA. And if you do, you just do a video, host it on your Vimeo, so it's yours, and then put the link here, and we embed every bit of it into the training program for you. But it's how you run your team verbatim. I think the longest video in here might be 11 minutes. Most of them are 2 or 3 minutes, so they're short videos. I was on with one of our people that signed up this morning, and she was like, "Oh my God, when do I do it?" I'm like, "You have a sales manager. Have her mark all the ones you need to do, and then let her go do the rest of them." Right. And if you do it solid, it's probably less than a day's videos, and then you're done. Like your training system, you send it to us, we edit it. Takes about a week to get everything edited for you, and then your training system's done. Now, the great thing is anytime you need to change it, you just email us and we change it for you, or you have the ability to change it yourself. Also, you can go in and you can see at any time where your agents are on the completion. So you can log in here.
While he's pulling it up, Damon, or Michael, while he's pulling that up real quick,
yeah.
If somebody wants to learn more, will you give them an email address or something in the chat where they can reach out to you on that? And also, we have a lot of the training that's in, the master classes.
Right.
And all this is more of a customized day by day, hour by hour, 90-day, that if somebody wanted to add it, that's specific to being more productive in finding those deals.
Yeah, I think the easiest way is just going to be to send Damon or I a Facebook message, and we can connect on there. Also, our emails are, and if we can put these in the chat, mine's michael@realtyfasttrack.com. Damon's is damon@realtyfasttrack.com. Pretty simple, but Facebook chat's probably going to be the best way.
Yeah, or on Facebook, yeah. So
yeah.
You can log into your dashboard. You can see what your agents have done, how far along they are, when the last time they were in the system was. It's all there for you. You see what subjects are on, how far they completed. Everything's in there so that you know exactly what they're doing.
Got it.
Yep. And one thing, sorry to interrupt, Gabe. One thing I think for me a huge benefit from this is, so over the past 2 years, I've pretty much gotten completely out of production because of training agents, because of this onboarding process, because of what it was taking to run a team, right? And let's be honest, when we have agents on our team selling, we're only getting a portion of that. When we sell something on our own, we're getting a lot more, right? I went, once we implemented this last year, I sold over 20 homes in the last half of the year last year, because I had more time on my plate, because I wasn't sinking 20 hours a week into training.
Well, and I think this leads into Liz asked, what's the graduation rate, the retention rate? So what is the difference that you're seeing, I guess, even just on graduating through this, making it through, and then, like you just said, there's probably 2 different effects, right? What's your time freed up on ROI? And then I think Damon touched base on how much quicker are they getting in there now, converting these leads that Ylopo is generating and these priority alerts. Like, what are you seeing difference in time where you're seeing conversion?
Damon, what's your team look like on that?
So graduation rate, I would say it's probably about 40%. Retention so far is 100.
So wait, say that again.
Graduation is about 40%. Retention of the graduates is 100.
Right. So is it
graduates? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so for us, overall retention, so when we implemented this, our team was, I think, 11 or 12 people. We're at 29 or 30 now. So we've pretty much tripled. We've brought on, 20 people. We've only lost 2, right? So, and I think those of you that run teams, larger teams, that the churn is just going to be more than that. One thing has done for us, like I mentioned earlier, our culture is way better than it's ever been. And I think it's just because new agents come in and are organized and know what the heck they're doing. And they know how valuable these tools like Ylopo are, because they're well explained, right?
Look, let's take it to really high level, right? If you're a team leader and you're making the investment and paying for Ylopo, if you can master it, and we're very rare as a company, right? We've got literally realtors in residence on our payroll here, right? Right? We've got Gabe and we got Barry and we got Livia and we got Laura and we want to add more. We have Ylopo professors like Damon, like Michael, like the list goes on. People that want to help you dig in. We've got our AMs. We've got tons of videos. If you dig in and master it, then you can train your folks using a system like this, get them to master it. And guess what? If they don't use it, right, your system you're investing in, if they don't use it, they can go. Like they're just going to go. If it's your job, if you get them to use it, which means to me, weekly accountability, which is your responsibility, not theirs. It's not like, don't complain to me that your agents aren't using it. That's your responsibility. I do a weekly check-in with my executive team every single Monday at the same time. And they show me their stats visually, right? I see the key performance, indicators for every single division of my company. And they know there's no ducking and hiding every month. And then but it's also helpful. It's fun. It's positive. I'm not there just to bust and talk about issues, right? And unlock them, be supportive, build culture. But if they're using the tool, where are they going to go? Like if they use it and they value it, right? And they have opportunities, where are they going to go? And you also need to explain to folks when you're recruiting them and you're saying, look, you're going to get access to this tool. Understand that in our lifetime as real estate professionals, economy does this. Yes, it's a crazy seller listing environment now. Get a listing, you got a line around the block, you might as well sell, churros, right? Because be 45 minutes to get into the home. But it's not always going to be that way, right? Interest rates go up, interest rates go down, buyer markets, seller markets, neutral markets, right? Times of the year are different. Certain times of the year in our markets are great, certain times are not. But when you have this tool, we can create consistent opportunities every month, every year, in every macroeconomic climate. That's the difference. So don't go somewhere else where you don't have that tool that can provide consistent opportunities, right? Who's leading? Who's leading?
100%. I love it. There's some good questions rolling in. I want to get back over to them. So in the 90-day program, are the agents actually going out on calls or making calls? Are they going out showing property? Like, how does that work in comparison to the schedule?
So how it works on the schedule is in the afternoon, if you're showing properties, you show properties instead of those activities. If you're not showing properties, you do those activities. So your goal is going to be to show properties, but nobody's showing properties 5 days a week. And so if you're not showing properties, you're doing those activities.
Right. And one thing Damon touched on earlier is a new agent. What do? They get a client and then all of a sudden they say, oh crap, what do I do with the client? Right. And so what this program does is from, I think, day 3 or 4, it has them going out previewing properties, pulling comps on properties, writing practice contracts on properties. So when they do have a real live client, what we've noticed is our brand new agents are writing better contracts than our agents that have been on the team for 2 or 3 years, because they've been writing a ton of practice contracts and they know what to do when they get a client.
Well, and I saw, like, leading into the next question as well, because of the training, is like, is there a place in Ylopo where we learn how to find the tab to find this low-hanging fruit we keep talking about? And I think that is a testament to what this training is doing, right? Because we all know that it's happening, and we see everybody talking about, this great reply that came in. That's what this is doing, is it's showing you how to go in, whether it's in Ylopo or whether it's in the CRM, this displaying stuff. As you guys are going day by day and not having to repeat, it's been automated to be able to show anybody and everybody how to find, we keep talking about low-hanging fruit, but that's what this training is doing. It's how to maximize all the tools and features that we're making available to the clients, because there are a lot, right? From the marketing side, the Diva ads to listing rockets, open house. So like everything is broken down in there, because we skip it as team leads sometimes. How do we train all the tools? And then freaking G and Howard and Kiwi and everybody keep coming out with more tools. And it says we're training these ones, then the next set of releases are coming out. And so those are coming through. So that's what this is doing, right? Is showing how to go in and find that stuff.
Right. Yeah, and Howard mentioned accountability. One great thing is that's built into the system because you can go in your dashboard like Damon showed you and see basically hour by hour who's completing their subjects, right? What kind of completion they have. We have quizzes built in there, so if they're failing a quiz, retaking it, 30 seconds later, we know they're really not doing the work. They're just going through the motions.
Right.
And I'll give one caveat just to everybody. So when Michael and I first started this, I was like, you know what? And I did a video for my agents. If you take the training, I'll invest in you. I'll you have questions after hours about contracts, I'll answer them. If you don't bother me. And then after a while, a couple weeks ago, I came to him and I said, all right, the hell with that. All right, either do the training or get the hell out of the company. Because what we were finding is the agents that didn't do the training, they sucked, and there were problems, and there were culture problems, and they were ethical problems. And it's just like, learn your craft or get out, And so that's how we treat the team now. It's either do the training or don't be a part of the business.
So first up, so I want everyone to understand, like almost like once a month now, Kiwi's bringing you guys coaches, outside coaches who use Ylopo, who some of them, a lot of folks, do have outside programs, coaching programs, systems like this. They, there are fees for some of this stuff, and Ylopo doesn't have anything to do with that. But we're getting a lot of questions, so we're just trying to bring you guys opportunities, right? Because some of you guys are asking for like, well, you can go use a coach, but it's better to use a coach who's super familiar with Ylopo, right? Think about that. Like, there's no industry where there's more coaches than in real estate. But you can go use a coach who has no idea about Ylopo, the system you're investing a lot in. But there's so many coaches that we're showing you guys every single month who have mastered Ylopo. You might as well, kill two birds with one stone, use those guys, right? But Gabe, very, very important for the group here. Also, please explain, there's a bunch of folks who are like, I don't feel like I really got properly trained. I need more training. I just need more help with Ylopo, right? So Can you go over everything just really quickly that's available, from the YSC to the office hours to the video? Like, if someone really is like just feeling, they're just feeling kind of alone and naked in the woods in the Ylopo forest, right? What's available for free in terms of training and education?
Yeah, 100%. That's where I was going to go. Because this isn't for everybody, right? This is something that you've got new people coming in all the time. The teams are growing and scaling. But take advantage of all the stuff that's obviously available to you. So, first and foremost, every Wednesday, right, at 10 a.m. Mountain, 12 Eastern, office hours, right? You have got, not only do you have Barry, myself, Levia, Laura, you've got people, I see Damon on there, Michael's on there, top agents, team leads from across the country who are going through best practices. It's nothing about us. We're literally giving you an hour of our time, and it's very organic. What are your questions? What are you needing? So it's CRM questions. It's how do I do seller reports? How do I, all of this, and we literally are sharing screen, we're role playing, we're going through all of this. So that's a huge one, right? The master classes that are out there available, and I think I saw somebody post in the chat, go in there, take the master classes. It's a great first step to get familiar with a lot of this. You've got your account managers there. There's countless free resources that are available as well. So yeah, this is definitely not for everybody. This is, I think, that team that's growing and scaling, you're still selling, you're not putting the training in there, but you've got all these great tools, and you're wanting to automate some of that process and not forget how to show a lot of the features that Ylopo has and all that. So now you're leveraging your time out where it's needed versus saying the same part over and over and over. So yeah, there's a ton of places you can find, the office hours link, guys. I think that's probably the easiest, best training available every single week that you can put on your calendar. If you're new into Ylopo, your entire team should just have that saved on your calendar coming up, just as if it's an office meeting or a huddle. In fact, the team and group up here in Boise moved the weekly team meeting just because it was over the same time, so agents could take part in it.
Hey, Gabe, can you share? Someone wants to know how to get there to the office hours. Can you share the link?
Yeah, it's all. Let me see if I have it here. We've created it in Ylopo Success Community, so in Facebook, which is another spot, guys. If you're watching this and you're not in, we call it YSC, but the Ylopo Success Community on Facebook, private group, you need to get in there, right? Because outside of all the trainings and everything, you've got a ton of people asking questions, posting videos. I just did this and it worked great. I just tried this new campaign. So let me pull up the Facebook group as well, because we're posting the link in there, and you can get a ton of the information. So it's not.
I was going to say the search function of Facebook will answer more questions quicker than a lot of things.
The search function within the Ylopo Success.
Within the Ylopo committee, yeah.
Yeah.
Great tip.
I do that on a weekly basis, and somebody has already asked the question, and there's a lot of great answers in there.
Yep. Oh, are you on there? My share, I don't know why the share is not working there.
And
no, we can see it.
When you ask that question, Howard, so I just switched from one CRM to a Follow Up Boss, and I've been with Ylopo for 2 or 3 years now. The very first thing I did before I even pulled the trigger was I did the training, Barry's University, the very first, and I'm an experienced Ylopo user, but the very first thing I did and made my entire team do was go through Barry's, as Follow Up Boss, what I went to, Follow Up Boss University for Ylopo to familiarize themselves with the system. And so it's free. So use it. I mean, that's the number one thing. Use that.
I think somebody's sharing it. Yeah. So they're pulling up the master classes where you can go in, guys. Take these master classes. Again, this is all included. It's going through the different CRMs, whether you're Follow Boss, FirePoint, LionDesk, Sierra, and these are always growing, right? It started with one. We got Chime. They're coming in here and they're specific to us. Those are great free resources. He also showed you can go back and whoever, I think probably Kiwi, thanks for doing this. I couldn't share. When you go to that events section in the Ylopo Success community, you have the upcoming events. You've got office hours. This is just a great spot to always go to see what's upcoming that you can register for or jump in live, right? So there's just a ton of resources there for you. So, don't want you to think that this is the only way to get training, obviously, through Damon and Michael, but there's a ton of resources in here. And I do think that search field is underutilized, right? Because you can instantly find out like open house, like anything you're looking for, open house or it's right, like anything. There's so many conversations that have happened. You can find different examples that are already in here that have been discussed. And it's advice from people in the trenches out there with you. So a huge resource for you to use and leverage. And again, don't forget to reach out to your account manager, to the support team, right? They're also always available and everything. So tons of resources that you can use. This is just something different. If you're looking for something automated that's tailored to your group, to your CRM, that you can add on so that you're not doing the training over and over and over.
Yep.
So I know people are having some questions about pricing and all that stuff. I think the best thing to do is probably reach out to Damon, Michael, on that and how to customize it for your group and what you're looking for. So I think usually the best way to do it is because everybody I know has a little bit different scenario. Because somebody mentioned even the Trainual for 267, that's separate. If you're just getting Trainual on your own, that's not part of what you guys are doing. It's already included, correct?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, we pay the hosting fee.
Yeah. So I think it's a great way to figure out pricing, everything, how it would work for your team. I would definitely go straight in with them.
Yeah, and I think the main thing, Gabe, is like Damon said, we spent probably 500 plus hours making this system, and we white glove it for you. Put in all your videos, put in everything specific to your team, your market. Ylopo is a very huge part of it, so obviously we understand that, and that's in there pretty heavily. And just make it to where you're not having to spend the time we did creating it, or the time that if you're growing a team, you're not having to pour all that time into the training that takes away from building your business or selling your own clients.
So whatever system you use, if you're going to train somebody twice on something to do, shoot a video and create a system around it. It's shortcut it right now. If you're going to train somebody twice, train 2 people, train somebody now and in the future. If you have an admin now, you're going to train another one in the future when this one goes. Create a system, do videos. It's the only way to do it.
I love it. Well, let's see. I don't think I have any more open questions. So I'd love to kind of like just parting thoughts when it comes to, I mean, what you guys are doing aside. We've given them the, your email address. They can reach out. I'd love just as 2 team leads, and Howard, I'd love your thoughts as well, just as a leader. When it comes to preparing and training, like I'd love to leave people with some takeaways of what they can, do and just take away literally from this webinar. And I was going to share exactly what Damon just said. What we are finding as we're going through and changing systems and becoming more competitive and really just focusing on the listing side is just video. And as, one of the teams was showing somebody how to go in and order photos and do all this. And I'm like, record that, record it, right? When you're going through it, several people ask, how do I find that low hanging fruit? It's probably one of the things when I jump on with the team to get more conversion out of what's coming in, all these priority lists and everything, we're like, let's record this, because this is something at your team meetings, right? And just because you talk about it today doesn't mean somebody doesn't remember in 2 weeks, or there's a different agent in your office meeting. So when you're finding these little nuggets, and how do you adjust this column versus that column to find out who's the recent reply that came in from Raya that hasn't been responded to, or finding those priority lists, like record it and share it. And it's a refresher, right? You don't, athletes at the highest level, don't get to a certain spot and stop practicing their craft. They're constantly doing it. They're recording and watching their form and listening to what they're saying. So to me, I think that's a huge thing right now. We're talking about training and getting the most out of whatever system you're using, including Ylopo. Record what you're training, record what you're doing, and then share it with the rest of the team.
My input is, let's say, my head of sales is great at creating Loom videos. So, he's showing charts, he's showing databases, he's showing PowerPoints, but he's talking, right? He's creating Loom videos, he's talking, and I'm seeing the visuals. They're really, really effective. Now, if you create a cool Loom video, like, hey, how to use follow-up boss on Ylopo the best way, how to find the best opportunities, whatever it is, right? Create a 10-minute Loom video. If you just share it with your team, what percentage of them will actually watch it? If you have, well, I'm going back to that first thing I said, if you had your cadence of, I got 15 people, so I got 3 5-person pods, 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11, every Monday, that's it, they got to show up. And during that, besides the accountability and the check-in, right, you also are sharing a Loom. Like, you don't have to do that instruction 3 times. You can create that one Loom. If you share it with everybody on the Zoom, now what percentage of them are going to see it? 100%. If you show up to that meeting and then just hit play and press that video that you created once, 100% will see it. If you just send it out to all 15, what percentage will see it?
Not many.
Not many.
Okay. Because Loom will tell you.
Yeah.
So, but I'm like that too. I mean, I'm bombarded. Like, you want to not get a message from me? Email me. Right?
Well, I know.
Email me, right? I got to check an email. I'm checking Slack. I'm checking text. I'm checking Facebook Messenger. Like, it's crazy, right? But they got to stand up. 15-minute stand up, 30-minute stand up every week. They're going to digest whatever you're giving them.
Yeah. That's a great point, Howard. And I think one thing I've learned from all this is that people like accountability. People like predictability in systems. We had a lady join the team who was a geologist, right? She worked for an oil and gas company, super regimented, came in, had this training and was like, oh my God, I thought real estate was going to be, like, I didn't know what I was going to do. I was afraid I wasn't going to have a schedule. She had a schedule. She sold 5 houses in her first 2.5 months. Right. So she was somebody that loved that schedule. So I've always kind of been fly by the seat of my pants type guy. Never really, been much for a schedule. But what I've found is that people coming in new to real estate crave that kind of consistency and dependability. And whether it's, from those check-in meetings, Howard, from this system, whatever it is, whatever you're doing, give your new people that kind of dependability of a system. And if you do that, no matter what system you use, you're going to have more success. We just feel like we've made a pretty good way here to put people in a system and see quick results.
I mean, you walk the walk, right? You know that you need to stay connected to your buyers and your sellers, right? You got to stay, especially your potential sellers now. You got to stay connected to them. You have to have some kind of regular cadence of staying connected to them. Because if you don't, then you find out, oh shoot, they just listed a $1.2 million home and I didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't check in with them in 4 months. Yep. And someone was closer to them and did and got them going and like, oh, okay, yeah, you can have the listing, right? Same thing with your team. If you're not regularly doing this stuff and regularly like having these face-to-face, they don't have to be the longest, they don't have to be 3-hour meetings and useless stuff, right? But you stay connected to your team, they're not going anywhere.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, that's why I love the organization of it and the schedule, right? It helps you, especially as you're that growing agent and you're still out there showing property, taking listings, doing all that is leveraging your time and money and still having that accountability. So I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, guys.
We're coming up to the hour, guys. I think if you're ready for it, you guys should avail yourselves of this system that Damon and Michael have built. It is in the weeds. It's done for you, right? Your ROI will be massive and right away. I think if you use it, it's going to help regiment you, which will help regiment your team, and it's going to solve some issues that are happening. If you feel like you're sort of, kind of really lost in that, in that dark forest right now, then you want to reach out to the Ylopo Success community. You want to get on your office hours. You want to connect with your AM, connect with Gabe, connect with Barry, Livia, Laura, right? And get some help and do some precursor work. Go to ylopo.com, go to all the training stuff. You got to really dig in like Damon did when he moved, CRMs over to Follow Up Boss. Dig in, and then you'll be ready stage 2 for what Damon and Michael have created. So parting shots, Michael, last few words.
Yeah, thanks for listening and thanks for your patience. I know we posted about this in December, and frankly, we were about probably 100 hours of work away from having something to put out there. And we're really happy with how it turned out. Whether you use this system or not, like I said, just know that training is important. And like Damon said, if you're going to do something more than once, shoot a video for it. We just tried to make a way here to really display all those videos and all that training the best way possible. So good luck to everybody.
Damon, parting words.
My parting words are, make a system. Everything. I'm a systemized guy. Make a system. Use your calendar. Rock it. Kill it.
Got to have a system and a process. Ask yourself. Look yourself in the mirror today. Do I have a system and process for myself and for my team? And if you don't, we've got resources to help you get on one.
Yep.
Gabe?
100%. I'm going to echo that again. It keeps ripping me up. Maybe we've mastermind too long together, but have the system in place. But it's to hold yourself accountable, right? And I'll be the first to raise my hand and say it that I've failed as a trainer, as newer agents coming on the teams were growing because I knew the steps I needed to take, but I didn't have the system in place to hold me accountable or them. So it's have the system and then an accountability to that, because it's just, don't take lightly that when people are quitting their jobs or leaving one profession to come into real estate, right? They're scared to death, right? They're putting a lot of trust in us as team leads to make sure they're successful. And whether it's this or something else, have that system, hold yourself accountable to it, because somebody else's livelihood is in your hand, whether they make it or not.
Yep.
Awesome, guys. Well, I am super excited about the next Ylopo Success Summit when we have, Damon and Michael on stage, and Gabe's on stage, and Barry's on stage, and Livy's on stage, and Laura's on stage, and all the coaches that we've been talking to. We're trying to get Tom Ferry up there on stage, and there's a whole bunch of amazing coaches that we work with will be there. It's going to be super powerful. I think we may have to go from 2 days to 3 days. It's just going to be so much content out there. It's going to rock. So Damon, Michael, thank you so much, guys, for sharing to the community. And I'm really hoping a lot of folks avail themselves of the system you guys have really spent a ton of time, building. And Gabe, thanks for co-hosting, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
All right.
Bye.